Imagine this scenario where you're one of a million people trying to buy concert tickets the moment they go on sale. The website loads, everything's fast and smooth, you grab your tickets, and there are no glitches or endless loading. Have you ever wondered how that's even possible? Because frankly, a single server can't do that, not even close. Behind the scenes, there's a clever system working overtime to make sure your request doesn't become the straw that breaks the internet's back. That system is called a load balancer, and it's the unsung hero of the modern web. So let's get straight to it. A load balancer is basically a really smart traffic director. When thousands or millions of users try to access a website or app at the same time, the load balancer decides where each of those requests should go. Instead of overwhelming one poor server with all the traffic and turning it into a toast, the load balancer spreads the load evenly across multiple servers. It's not just distributing traffic randomly though. It's calculating, constantly monitoring server health, and adjusting in real time. If one server starts to slow down or crashes entirely, the load balancer doesn't panic. It just quietly reroutes the traffic to the servers that are still functioning. To the user, nothing changes, but under the hood, a potential disaster just got quietly avoided. There are several ways load balancers decide how to distribute traffic. The most basic method is round robin. That's where the load balancer simply cycles through servers one by one. The first request goes to server A, second request goes to server B, the third goes to server C, then back to A again, and so on. It's like dealing out cards. Simple, effective, but not always smart enough for real-world load. A more advanced strategy is least connections. This one tracks how many users are connected to each server and sends new traffic to the one with the fewest connections. It's smart. If one server is already juggling a crowd, the load balancer skips it and picks a quieter one. More efficiency and fewer slowdowns. Then there's IP hashing, where the user's IP address determines which server they get sent to. This is especially useful when you want the same user to keep hitting the same server. Like if you got session data that shouldn't move around, like what's in their shopping cart or where they paused that movie. And yes, there are hardware load balancers, which are expensive machines that big enterprises install in their data centers. But more commonly today, we use software load balancers, which are cheaper, more flexible, and perfect for cloud environments where you might spin up dozens of servers on demand. AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, they all offer software load balancing as a built-in service. Another underrated power of load balancers is security. Since all traffic flows through the balancer first, it acts as a kind of gatekeeper. It can detect and drop suspicious requests, absorb DDoS attacks, and generally act like the world's politest bouncer, making sure only the good stuff gets in. It can also do SSL termination, which basically means it handles the whole HTTPS encryption handshake, offloading that resource-heavy task from your actual servers so that they can focus on what they're best at, which is serving up content. Now here's the thing that really matters. Load balancers aren't just for huge companies. Even small applications use them. Because the moment you have more than one server, or the moment uptime becomes a priority, you need one. Without it, you're just one viral tweet or one product launch away from total collapse. So next time you stream a show, order pizza online, or join a live Zoom call with 500 people who forgot to mute themselves, just know a load balancer made it possible. Silently, invisibly, and without asking for credit. It doesn't care about fame, it just wants you to stop refreshing the page.